Hmm. So what happened to piston number 1? Where did it go? That's a head scratcher. Hey folks, it's me again with the 2005 Saturn Ion, and I wanted to point out one thing. My son brought up a question the other day. So I'm going to put this together and get it back out on YouTube and see if we can get some YouTube participation, for lack of better terms. What do you think? So one of the questions come up was, when you put together the Saturn Ion, and I showed you the video in video 2. Well, video 1, I showed you the scope cam where we went down the piston hole to look at what's going on. We thought this car had jumped time because it wouldn't start, so we looked. What gave us that point was when we pulled the motor apart, we found a smashed plug. The plug had been smashed. The ceramic around the point had been busted. Well, lo and behold, when we pulled the head off, there's no parts. But as you've seen in video 2, the results when we took the head off, all of the valves are there. That's a head scratcher, right? So what happened to piston number 1? Where did it go? That's a head scratcher. So while we were taking the motor apart, I knocked this little sensor that normally goes right here. I knocked it down inside the intake. It fell down in the hole there where the TBI sits. And so as we were putting it back in the trunk, I shook it, and it shook, and these parts came out. You know, doesn't that look like a valve stem? It does to me. Is it? I don't know. Look at this piece. Doesn't that look like a piece of piston ring? All of these parts came out of the intake. When I shook it, they slid out of the hole. The valves are apparently not damaged. The kids scratched that just to see how clean it was. All the valves are there. No apparent damage. What happened? Where'd that valve stem come from? And check out the cylinder. So that down there is the crankshaft. That's where the rod should be. You can see that crankshaft is pretty eat up. But something I noticed the last time I was here, let's do a little spinning here. This is what I think is a chip in the bottom of the cylinder. So when we look down here between the crankshaft journals, just a little bit over there, what is that? That's a hole. That, my friends, is a hole. But what is that down there? Is that the piston? Is that the piston stuck under the crankshaft? Can't really tell too well. That looks like a rod laying in the oil. That sure looks like it might be part of the piston. Right there. Maybe. Or is that the side of the block? I can see light behind the motor. So I think I go down, I go up. Oh, let's not turn that way. Let's turn that way. That is the axle shaft on the outside of the motor. That, my friends, is what I think I'm seeing. That's when I get crap on the... But the question still remains is, what is that? This is between the two journals of the crank. Is that the piston laying there? Now let's look at the back of the motor. And my friends, I think you can see a hole in the back of the motor. That is definitely a hole in the motor. Definitely a hole. We go inside the block. Okay, so here's the question. Did it time jump? Found a valve stem in the intake. So did someone else put another head on it? Is that why it has all of its valves? Good question. My son brought up those questions. He's like, wait a minute. How can we find a valve stem in the intake and it still have all of its valves? Well, that's a good question. That's why I went and ran the scope to find out.